you're just tuning in, Roxanne is a former client, but even better than that, she is a great person, so knowledgeable. You guys will love her, and she may have a book in the works one day. So I'm already calling her an author. I hope she's okay with that because
Love it.
you speak those things into existence. You're like,
Yes.
I'm an author. I'm an author. I can write a book. I really can write a book. And I believe you have enough wisdom, enough knowledge to do that. So I'm excited for you, Roxanne. I am going to let Roxanne take this over, ladies. She's an amazing, amazing woman. And you guys will just love her. So take it away, Roxanne.
Thank you so much, Allie. I'm delighted. I am beyond delighted. I'm over the moon to be here with you this evening. My name is Roxanne Yam. I had the pleasure of working with Allie and Wade for a year, about a year ago, and I had wonderful results. And probably like many of you, I came to Allie beside myself. I was like, I don't know who these 20 pounds belong to, but they're not mine and they need to go. So Allie helped me so much. Interestingly enough, I lost, what I think, Allie, like 23 inches. Like I lost 23 inches. I only lost 12 pounds. I thought I needed to lose 20 pounds, but I lost 23 inches. So I was thrilled with I was really thrilled. And I think, like just menopause, wow, what a kick in the pants. So I had a wonderful experience working with Wade and Allie. Um, and for a really long time, I have been passionate about meal prep. And what I noticed in our group calls just like this was that for a lot of us, meal prep was really a stumbling block to our success, and different elements of it, right? There's different feelings around it. For some people, it's just like, I don't cook, it's not my thing. For many of us, it's time. I relate very much to that. When I first got in shape, how I came to love meal prep has a lot to do, I think, with why I'm so passionate about it. Um, I I am a mom of three kids, all in college. I have a busy career, so not a lot of time. I travel and I have a lot of long hours, probably like many of you. Um, and got two dogs and a cat, and I'm also a newlywed. I got married less than a year ago, and let's see, we made a big move and we're building a house. So like, there's no time. There's no time. So I understand the time crunch, and I think I'm very familiar with that challenge. How I came to love meal prep was a really long time ago when my boys were wee little babies, and I was it's just at a very, very low point in my life, and my weight reflected it. I had had two babies back to back, and so both pregnancy weight, and my marriage was just, that was it was demoralizing. I didn't know what I was coming home to on any given day, and my outside looked like how I felt on the inside, and I just had a day of reckoning. I was at the park with my little boys, and I was so ornery and cranky with them, and it made me so sad because I had hoped and prayed for this day. I wanted kids so badly, and we had struggled with infertility, and here were my babies, and I was at the park this day I had dreamed of, and I was just wishing it away because I was miserable. I was crammed into a pair of jeans that didn't fit in August in South Florida because I didn't want to put on shorts. And all I wanted to do was go home and get in the air conditioning. And I thought something's got to change. And I knew I didn't have time. I mean, I was already doing everything with my boys, and I had all of this drama and trauma in my personal life, and I was working. I just knew something had to change. And so that became very foundational for me because I found a way to make swaps. I found a way to take the things I was already doing and swap them so that I didn't magically have more time in my life. I didn't magically have like less drama. I didn't, but I found a way to make simple, healthy meals. And that was the beginning of a tremendous change for me because what I also found was my confidence in myself. And from there, that was what I needed to make changes in my life and to get myself out of a really horrible situation with two little ones and navigate a really, really rough time in life. But that was foundational. So, you guys, that's why I'm passionate about meal prep. I know that whatever challenges you are facing, and I know we all do, I know we all put on our brave face and we go do our thing in the world every day, but we all shoulder, whether it's time crunch or challenges or health or taking care of loved ones. We've all got stuff going on. So what I come to you with is not rocket science. It's really not. It's outlook. It's how do we look at things differently? What kinds of choices can we make to empower ourselves and feel really, really good and have the great results that we want and that you deserve? So that's my theme for our talk tonight is what can you do in the next 30 days to give yourself the gift of health and fitness while still enjoying the holidays? Because you guys, it's 2 weeks to Halloween. It's actually less than 2 weeks. Halloween is 2 weeks away. And I'm sorry to say, what happens. Like after Halloween, it's just a fast slope, a downhill slope into the new year. And you'll bat an eye and it'll be the new year. So with your participation, we'll take a little bit of time tonight to start thinking about what can we do to get ourselves ready and use these next couple of weeks ahead of the holidays to get ready. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to spend a little bit of time. Nothing is going to take a lot of time. Spend a little bit of time assessing, planning, and executing your plan. And what we're going to assess is we're going to put our eyes on what's in the freezer and what's in that, pointing at I'm like you guys can see it. My freezer and my pantry. What's in the freezer and what is in the pantry that you can leverage for meal prep, and what do you need to clean out now to make space? Do you have the tools? Do you have what you need? Maybe you already are into meal prep. Maybe you're already into freezing stuff. So if you are, you might have everything you need in your set. That's awesome. But still just take the time to just put your eyes on it and see what you need. Okay. Some of the things that I use for meal prep, these are my go-to. I don't love single-use plastic, but it has its place. And I reuse. I definitely reuse. Okay. Gotta label stuff. And the reason I don't write on that plastic is because I want to use it more than once. So I've got my little Sharpie and this is freezer proof tape. Okay. So everything gets labeled. I have muffin tins. You might ask me, why are muffin tins part of my itinerary, my list of resources for prepping ahead? Because this is a half a cup portion of rice. I prep a big batch of brown rice, and these little tins, I freeze them in it, and then I can pop them out, and I've got a Ziploc bag full of exactly one portion of brown rice. And that's one of the things about prepping ahead with the meals is if you make a big old pot of chili and you freeze it, it's going to be tough to work with. You're going to have to thaw the whole thing. On the other hand, this little glass dish is Pyrex. It holds almost exactly 2 servings, probably 2 generous servings. But this is part of what's in my arsenal for meal prepping. And also, they stack really easily in the freezer. And the night before, I can just pull this out and put it into the fridge. And I've got 2 portions ready to go. So what I use, I'm happy to talk about and field any questions about like kind of resources and what works well. I think it matters less what works well for me. We all have our own family situations, whether you're preparing for just yourself or you're preparing for a big family or whatever. What matters is that you know what works for you. And if you're not sure, let's talk about it. So that's the assess portion of this. The plan is really simple. So this week, clear out space in that freezer. make sure you have the room, make sure you've got the supplies, and bonus points if you get ready for the next few weeks, because the next few weeks, what the plan is double up. And this is what I mean about really, I did not put extra time in. I took the time I was already doing. So we're going to double up recipes, meaning for the next 4 weeks, 1 or 2 meals a week that you are already preparing, double it up. You make a second batch of it and you package it up and it goes in the freezer. And when crunch time hits you during the holidays and there's more stuff to do, there's less time available, you're more stressed and more tempted with all of the holiday treats that are out there. You've got on-plan meals ready to go in your freezer that you can pull out. And then we take those and we look for, I talk about multipliers. Multipliers are tasks that you do once and pay back multiple times. So if I double up that batch of chili, I probably have 6 portions in the freezer ready to go. Whether that's me, my husband, the kids are here, it doesn't matter. They're ready to go. That's a total multiplier because it's on plan. I've got that recipe already in my Fitness Pal. I don't have to log anything. All I have to do is put in Roxy's chili. It's already there. And I spent the time once to make my meal for the week, plus to make an extra portion for the freezer. So those are the multipliers. That's how we do this without suddenly finding more time in the day. That's the plan. And then the other element is make sure you've got extra on-plan snacks. I wanted to share some of mine. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these, the protein chips from Quest. You can order them online. The macros are awesome. This little bag of chips has 19 grams of protein. They're so yummy. And I'm like, this might be me. I know like everybody has, but chips are my downfall. So I know that. And I think that's more about it. It's not like you need to go get these chips. It's not that. It's that I know chips are my weakness. So I will make sure that I have extra chips in the pantry so that I can grab them, toss them in the bag. I'm going to be out for a long day. I've got it covered. Also, these little organic seaweed snacks are really, they're wonderful. They're very low calorie. I never used to touch them. I always assumed that they would be like high fat. They're not. Their macros are clean. It has that when you want something salty and a little bit crunchy, these are a nice little snack. So having on-plan snacks in the house is also part of the plan. And then it's time to execute. So follow your plan. Boy, I say this, give yourself a lot of grace. The whole point of this plan is to introduce flexibility for you. The point is not perfection. It's not that you're suddenly, again, finding all this time to map out necessarily every single meal. We understand that during the holidays, things get very time crunched. The idea is that you've got enough flexibility that after prepping 1 or 2 meals ahead for several weeks, for 3, 4 weeks, your freezer is going to be stocked and you're going to have the flexibility you need to just grab some sliced grilled chicken breast out of the freezer and be ready to go. So that's what I mean about following your plan. And then congratulate yourself. This is all about building momentum. And the kind of momentum comes from putting your attention on what you're doing for yourself. This is a gift for yourself. So every time you batch prep a meal and you get extras into the freezer, take a moment and just pause and go, oh, look at that. I did it. I have set myself up for success. I know that I've got food ready to go in the freezer when I get super busy. And when you take it out of the freezer, just pay attention to how good that feels and go, oh my God, there's an evening or a whole day or even 2 days. I won't have to cook this week. What a great gift I gave myself. I'm sticking to my goals. It's so much positive reinforcement, this kind of momentum. there's really nothing like it because you are doing this for yourself. And that's such a big confidence boost. And whether or not the holidays, you whether or not you're able to lose weight over the holidays or whether you just are keeping your ground through the holidays and not, you can still build up that positive momentum. And that's what I would love for you, all of you, is to head into 2024 feeling that sense of confidence and going, wow, I just totally crushed it during the holidays. I did not go off the deep end. I had some fun. I planned my off-plan days around socializing, and I navigated all of that. So that kind of confidence, it can't be, it can't be replaced. So that's a lot on how to approach it and what to do for the next week. I'm going to pause here and ask for input for questions. Do you all, do you use the freezer? Do you prep ahead? Does this help with your challenges? What are your thoughts?
So I just had to say that I love your suggestion about portion size freezing your chili in the freezer because just this week I made a huge batch of turkey chili and I prepped it for this week and I thought, okay, that's enough. I don't want any more, so I'm gonna freeze the rest. And then I didn't portion freeze it. And so I have like half a whole batch in there. And when I thaw it out, I'm gonna have to separate it all. And so I love your suggestion of portion freezing your batches. That's awesome.
It's such a game changer. I feel like there are little tweaks that really help making the approach more usable and doing
Yes.
like I freeze stuff in no more than two portion sizes for exactly that reason. It gives that's the multiplier effect. That's the supreme kind of flexibility. So you can pull out just two portions this week and maybe you still have a couple more portions for a following week. One of the things that I wanted to recommend for that, this is just parchment paper. It's a big deal if you're freezing stuff because if you're going to put meat in the freezer, it becomes a block really like they're tenacious. I don't even understand. It's the only way to do it. If you're taking your chicken breasts, they need to have some parchment paper in between them so you can pull a chicken breast out of the freezer and use it. I prefer to cook them. And if anybody wants recipes or techniques for the recipes that I batch ahead, I'm happy to share them. And I'll give you guys my email address. You can just shoot me a quick email and say, hey, please send me those recipes or that checklist or whatever, and I'll shoot that off to you. My 5 easiest dishes to prep ahead are crock pot or instant pot chicken. I use both and I make slightly different versions with it, but I've kind of really zeroed it in I use the instant pot if I want to slice the chicken, and I use the crock pot if I want to shred it. So it depends on what it's going to go into. What I get out of that though is easy, like 6 portions of chicken breast that I can put into like virtually any recipe. It is so usable. And again, freezing it in a smaller portion size makes it suitable for them. Ground chicken chili. I think Tony, you just mentioned that. That's a favorite of mine too. Grilled chicken thighs. I know it's not really grilling weather, but if you don't have a George Foreman grill, I love my George Foreman grill. Super, super easy. Grilled chicken thighs. I put them on the George Foreman grill, let them sit for 5 minutes, and then just slice them up. And that's another one that can go into anything. My husband loves them plain. Like they're just, we do a seasoning on it. That's it. Sheet pan Greek chicken, which is a recipe I'm happy to share. That was one I just made up. And then just shrimp. If you like shrimp, I buy them frozen at the grocery store. So I always have 1.5 pounds of frozen shrimp in my freezer. I can thaw them in 5 minutes and they cook in 5 minutes. To me, that meets all of my criteria of fast and simple and on plan. So I'm happy to share all of those recipes with you if you guys want to hear any of them. Do you have any recipes you guys use for big batch prepping ahead? What are your favorites?
We batch cook a lot of stuff, and I think that's one of the reasons I've been able to be quite successful with Bod Babes. So we do everything like lasagna, spaghetti bolognese, curry. Like my boyfriend cooks a lot, which is really nice for me. So he'll batch like triple or quadruple some recipes, and then we got like just everything goes in the freezer. So yeah, it's amazing. It's a big
I
time
love
saver.
it. Isn't
Yeah.
it fantastic? I love
Yeah.
it. Wow. So I'm curious because I do find that I love the idea of like tripling a batch. I haven't found the pot or the container to make a big giant, but I'm looking. Do you have
Yeah,
what do you
it's
use?
massive. It's like,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, it's huge.
Okay, I just need to keep looking. Okay, so we're gonna have to do a share our resources moment, where we just share what we're using that works because I need that big pot. I need that in my life. Well, here are, I have like two more categories of tips that I'll share. 4 ways to leverage your meal prep. I think I already gave away the first one, which is freeze individual portions. Game changer. Makes it so much easier to utilize them by having them smaller portions. Uh, add, if you are going to meal prep ahead an actual meal versus a component, add it into MyFitnessPal. Put the whole recipe into MyFitnessPal. It really doesn't take that long. I have added a number of my recipes in there. What a gift. It's like I have I'm a cornball. I have a naming convention so that I can find all my recipes. It's Roxy's, whatever. Roxy's chicken chili, Roxy's fish tacos, whatever. So add them in there once. And then when you prep that ahead, hot tip, you put MFP on your label, on the freezer bag or whatever, on the little piece of labeling tape that you put on your freezer item, MFP, so you know it's in there. Label everything. That is a big deal. After you get a few weeks of adding 1 to 2 meals ahead in the freezer, you're going to look at stuff and you're not going to really be sure what it is. So please make sure you label everything. And my other thought on that is my final fourth tip. Do both components and recipes. Chili is a recipe. Sliced grilled chicken breast is a component. It can go in any way. They both have their pros and their cons, right? The recipe is a specific item. There are days that you want just a specific item. You don't want to have to figure out what to do with it. But there are days that you need flexibility to have a component that you can put into any recipe, whatever. If you have picky eaters, my God, I dealt with picky eaters for years. So having both of those in the freezer is another thing that's just a gift to yourself. And 3 ways to gain momentum around achieving your goals. Enlist your family's help. Let them know what you're working on and tell them why it matters to you. It's one thing to say, hey, I'm working on losing 5 pounds and I want to stay on plan during the holiday. It's another thing to say, I don't want to go into another New Year's not feeling good when I put on my jeans. I want to roll into New Year's feeling good about myself. And how I'm doing that is by focusing on my nutrition. And I'd really, really appreciate your support. This is how you could support me. And make a specific request. It might be as simple as just encourage me and check in with me and see how I'm doing. That's all I'm asking. It might be something specific like, please understand that I don't want to eat out more than once a week. I have 1 meal that I'm going to eat out a week and please help me with that. But specific requests are easier to fulfill. Include some of their favorite dishes. Ask them what they'd like to have. I had such a fun surprise. I'm so used to my kids my boys being into junk food. And I asked them about getting some of their favorite treats in the house, and suddenly everybody's all health conscious. Like, so ask them what they'd like to have. Maybe they share your goals. And then focus your attention on your wins, like we were talking about. Every time you pull one of those items out of the freezer, every time you take an on-plan snack with you, it's so important to say, hey, I did that. That was my attention to my goal that got me there. And that positive self-talk really, really goes a long way. And that's what I've prepared for you.
I love it. Ladies, yay, what do you think?
Yeah.
Did you learn something? I know you guys, I know you had to learn some things because I learned some things myself. Thank you, Roxanne. You really taught me some things too. And I know that the ladies have had to learn some awesome things. Do you guys feel like this has helped you think ahead and that you can start preparing for the holidays? How cool would it be to just start making extra? If you're cooking now, you might as well just cook, just cook the same amount of time. Just cook a little extra and put it in portions in your freezer. Do you think that will help you succeed?
Most
Definitely.
Oh my goodness, I do. Because think about it. We're going to start shopping for the holidays and then we're going to start getting busier and we'll be going, I don't have anything to eat. Well, just grab a pizza. Well, hold on. I don't have to grab a pizza, unless it's cheap meal. I am going to just get a meal out of the freezer and I am going to feel so good about it. And that is what we've talked about for a long time. Your mental attitude about it. So my mental attitude used to be what was this, I was being deprived attitude. I can't have pizza. I wish I could have pizza. This whole attitude. Well, I didn't want the results that lifestyle of eating gave me. But I wanted to feel sorry for myself, but it gave me results I didn't want. So I decided to feel differently about my food. So I love that Roxanne said, praise yourself, congratulate yourself, say great job to yourself. This is part of me loving me. Because so many times we look in the mirror and we just talk to ourselves like dogs. We would never speak to another person in this world like we speak to ourselves, maybe mentally or maybe even out loud. Yet we also want to feel sorry for ourselves when we're feeling deprived. Oh, I just can't do it. Well, Roxanne gave us a lot of ways to do it, and there are many more ways to do it. And that's when I'm going to put together some information. I have some information. I'm going to keep building on it. And I thank Roxanne because this is a great thing that we can all begin integrating into our successful patterns that we're building. And the other one that she said that really hit me hard, and I think it was that you guys, as I'm going back to it, is the telling yourself, great job. Believing in yourself and seeing that you aren't deprived, girl. You aren't deprived. You could have pizza if you wanted to. But you're not like 99.9% of all women. You're different. You got goals, girl. And that's part of loving you and becoming who you want to be. You see a vision of yourself. And be proud of that. That's not a weird thing. You want better for yourself. That's an amazing thing. You aren't just settling for whatever the seas and the waves and the weather tosses at you in life. You are steering your ship. And that's a successful woman who says, this is what I want to be, and I can do this. Boy, we've done much harder things than this. We can do this. And I want to say just before we go, one more time, and I want you all to just, before you leave, just to say thank you to Roxanne. She didn't have to do this. I didn't ask her to do this. She contacted me out of nowhere and said, can I come speak to your ladies. And I said, please do. And so I'm so thankful. So once again, Roxanne, thank you so much. I'm going to put this video up and I'm going to actually use it in our membership area. I think it's going to be very helpful, not just for today's group of women, but for the future group of women. Leslie wants to know, can you
Yes.
get the recipes? Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for reminding me. Shoot me an email, Roxie, ROXIE, at thedinnerdoctor.com. I will send you back the recipes and the materials.
Roxie, ROXIE, at thedinnerdoctor.com. Good.
All spelled out.
Good. The Dinner Doctor. Whoa. I like it.
Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute?
Yeah, I love it. So cool. All right. Thank you so much. We're going to get out of here, ladies. Make sure to tell her thank you and email Roxie.
Thank you, ladies. Take care.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.